There's a foundation on your counter right now that's making you look older every time you wear it. And you probably paid over $80 for it. I'm not talking about drugstore stuff. I'm talking about the brands the Sephora girl talked you into, the ones in the beautiful glass bottles that promise younger-looking skin. But you only notice the truth 3 hours later in your car's rear view, when every line on your face looks deeper than before you put anything on. That's not your skin aging. That's your foundation aging you. I tested 8 of the most popular luxury foundations for women over 40, same primer, same setting spray, same lighting. 5 of them made these women look 10 years older by midday. But 3 of them did the opposite. These women looked younger at 6 p.m. than they did at 8 a.m. We're exposing all 8. And the worst one on this list is a brand you probably own right now. Let's start with the one that confuses me the most. ET Cosmetics. 2 out of 10. And before the comments fill up, yes, I know this is somebody's holy grail. I see it recommended constantly for women our age, and every time I try it, I'm baffled. The coverage is thick. Really thick. It goes on, and it just sits there on top of the skin, never settling in, never looking like it belongs to your face. Within an hour, it starts looking heavy, and on mature skin, heavy reads as old. If you have this in your routine and it genuinely works for you, I need to see your exact technique, because on me, it's an arrest. Straight to jail? It covers, sure, but it covers the way a coat of paint covers. You don't want your face looking painted at 50, but at least IT Cosmetics is doing something. The next one barely shows up to work. Clinique, even better. 3 out of 10. This one isn't offensive, it's just boring. It's smooth, it's safe, it won't break you out, and it evens your tone out a little. Then about midday, it just quietly gives up. It doesn't crack, it doesn't oxidize, it just fades like it got bored of being on your face. And here's what bothers me about that. When your foundation disappears by 2 p.m., your skin isn't sitting there glowing underneath. Every spot, every bit of redness, every line comes back looking worse than it did bare because now your skin is half covered and half exposed. That's not natural. That's neglected. If you want something that does almost nothing in a very inoffensive way, here you go. But for skin that needs to look alive all day, a polite blur isn't going to cut it. Now here's where the list surprised even me. Maybelline Fit Me. 7 out of 10. And yes, I double-checked. This is one of the best lightweight foundations I've tried for women who want their skin to look like skin, not like makeup. It blends out so easily, it doesn't sit aggressively in fine lines, and when you've prepped your skin properly with a good moisturizer underneath, it gives you that smooth, real skin finish we're all chasing. It's not full coverage, so if you're looking to cover a lot, it'll disappoint you. But for an everyday, natural, comfortable base that doesn't age you, this $12 bottle outperforms half the expensive stuff on this list. So if a drugstore foundation can score a 7, you'd think the luxury brands would all be 8s and 9s. They are not. The next one costs 4 times as much and earned almost half the score. Fenty Eavesdrop. 4 out of 10. This one is genuinely cute for a quick, my skin but better kind of day. Light, dewy, easy. The problem is it barely covers anything, and by midday, it's basically gone. You'll do your face, feel fresh, and by the time you're picking up groceries, it is packed up and left. And when it leaves, it doesn't leave gracefully. It breaks up around the nose and chin first, so you get that patchy, uneven situation that ages you faster than wearing nothing at all. Pretty on application? Yes. Reliable for a full day on mature skin? Not that girl. But okay, enough about foundations that can't commit. The next one actually shows up and stays. Estée Lauder Double Wear. 8 out of 10. This is the most elevated long wear foundation on the list by a mile. The finish is smooth and polished, it photographs beautifully, and the trick with it, the thing nobody tells you, is to apply it lightly. People pile this on and then complain it's cakey. Use a little, build only where you need it, and it does not cake. It feels expensive in the way you actually want, finished and put together, not heavy. The only reason it's not higher is that it can feel like a lot of foundation if you're not careful with the amount. But applied with a light hand on well-prepped skin, this one genuinely respects mature skin. It doesn't settle into your lines at 4 p.m. It doesn't oxidize into a different shade by lunch. A solid yes. Now, the next one is going to hurt some feelings because on paper it should be perfect. Lancôme Teint Idole. 5 out of 10. This one's a bit of a heartbreaker. It looks gorgeous when you first put it on, expensive and luminous, and for a few hours it wears decently. Then something shifts. It starts feeling dry, it gets a little too matte, a little too serious, and the longer it's on, the more it starts clinging to the dry patches around your mouth and eyes. That's the thing about foundations that dry down too much on mature skin. They don't just stop looking dewy, they start showing texture that wasn't even visible before you applied anything. Pretty finish in the morning, aging you by dinner. It's the foundation equivalent of a date who's lovely for the first hour and then turns into a downer. Middle of the road, and for the price, that stings. But Lancome at least starts well and finishes badly. The next one starts bad and gets worse. And now the worst offender on the entire list, Bare Minerals Bare Pro. 1 out of 10. I do not say that lightly. This one is matte, stiff, and it clings to texture like it has something personal against you. It settles into every line, it cracks over dry patches, and the overall effect is that it makes skin look older than it actually is, which is the exact opposite of what we paid for. If your skin has any crepey texture, any dryness, any of the normal things that come with skin that's lived, this foundation finds all of it and puts it on display. Absolutely not. Take it back if you can. All right, 7 foundations down and only 2 scored above a 6. If you've had any of these sitting in your drawer, comment worst down below. I want to see how many of us got talked into the same regrets. The one that actually earned a 10. Luxe Color Changing Foundation, 10 out of 10. I don't hand those out. The color changing thing sounds gimmicky until you actually use it. It adapts to your skin tone as you blend, which means no oxidizing, no turning orange by noon, no mismatched jawline in photos. You match it once and it stays your shade. But that's not why it won. It won because of how it sits on mature skin. No caking, no separating, no crawling into the lines around your mouth, no stress. My skin just looked rich and calm, like I drink my water and mind my business. 6 hours later, same thing. I kept checking the mirror, expecting it to start cracking or fading or doing something disappointing, and it just didn't. I'd genuinely given up on finding a your skin but better foundation that actually worked past lunchtime. This one does. And it's cheaper than most of the luxury bottles that scored a 2. You can find it on Amazon. Links in the description. And if you're subscribed, tomorrow I've got something extra special for you.